Hey everyone, and welcome. So, you're starting your university journey. Think of it like setting sail on this huge, exciting academic adventure. And today, we're going to talk about one of the most critical tools you'll need for that voyage, the academic citation. Let's get our bearings and chart the course. Does the whole idea of research papers, bibliographies, and just juggling all those sources feel a little much? Like you're trying to navigate this massive ocean, but you don't even have a map? Trust me, that's a totally normal feeling, and we are about to fix that. Okay, so to find your way through this sea of information, what you need is a compass. In the world of academics, your compass is the citation. It's the tool that points you in the right direction and, just as importantly, shows everyone that your journey is an honest one. So, at its core, what is a citation? It's pretty simple, really. It's just the formal way you say, hey, I got this idea from someone else's work. It does two crucial things. It gives credit where credit is due, which is super important, and it leaves a trail of breadcrumbs so your readers can find the original source themselves. It's really the bedrock of academic integrity. But why is this such a big deal? I mean, really, why does it matter so much? Well, it's not just about following some dusty old rules. Proper citation is actually fundamental to how we build and share knowledge. Let's dive into how getting this right makes you a more credible scholar. It really all boils down to these three things. First, you give credit. You're honoring the hard work of all the thinkers who came before you. Second, by showing your sources, you build your own credibility. You're proving that your arguments aren't just pulled out of thin air. They're based on solid research. And third, you're actually joining the scholarly conversation. You're showing that you understand the ongoing dialogue in your field. All right, so if citations are your compass, then citation styles are your maps. And you'll find that different fields of study, well, they use different maps to organize their information. It's really important to know which map you're supposed to be following for your class. Now, you're going to run into these three most of the time: MLA, APA, and Chicago. You can think of them as like the three main continents on our academic map. Each one has its own layout, its own rules, but they all lead to the exact same place: clear, credible work. And each style has its own distinct feel. You'll see MLA, for example, is the go-to for the humanities, like English or art history, and it just uses the author's last name and the page number. Then you have APA, which is huge in the social sciences, and that one uses the author's name and the year. And Chicago is a bit more of a multi-tool. You'll see it a lot with footnotes. The point right now isn't to memorize all this, but just to see that they look different and are used for different subjects. But here's the thing. No matter which map you're using, whether it's MLA, APA, or Chicago, there is one rule that is more important than all the others, and that is be consistent. Pick the style your professor tells you to use, and then stick with it through your entire paper. Consistency is what makes your work look professional and easy for others to follow. Okay, we've covered the what, the why, and the which. Now, let's get into the practical stuff. How do you make this whole process less of a storm and more like, well, smooth sailing? Here are a few pro tips. Think of this as your survival checklist. First, for sure, start early. Creating your citations as you do your research will save you a massive headache later on. And here's a big one. Those online citation generators, they're tempting, I know, but they often make tiny but critical mistakes. A misplaced comma, the wrong capitalization. So use them as a starting point, but always double-check what they spit out against an official style guide. And of course, proofread your bibliography just like you proofread your essay, and never, ever be afraid to ask for help. And let's be really clear about what's at stake here. Plagiarism is a serious, serious academic offense, even when it's totally unintentional. Thinking of your citations as your armor is actually a great way to look at it. They're your protection. They ensure the work you're handing in is ethical and, actually your own. And please remember this. You are not expected to figure all this out by yourself. Your professors, the University Writing Center, these are your expert navigators. They exist specifically to help you learn these skills, so use them. That's what they're there for. So as we're wrapping up our little journey for today, let's bring it all back home. This isn't just about dotting your I's and crossing your T's to avoid getting in trouble. It's really about striving for excellence. And that's really the main takeaway. Getting this skill down transforms you from just a student into a real, genuine scholar. It shows you respect the world of ideas you're now a part of, and that you're ready to contribute to it. Your citations are your compass, and they are pointing you directly towards success. So you've got your compass in hand. You know where to find your maps. That vast and exciting sea of scholarship is waiting for you. The question is, are you ready to set sail and begin? Good luck out there. You've got this.